Hello.
Coach, I got one quick note. Rhode Island is 8-0 for the first time since 1947. Guy by the name of Frank Cooney was the coach at the time. So we'll get you open up after that.
That's pretty impressive, considering the lineage of coaches and players that have been here. But it also kind of shows you it's very difficult, obviously, to get off to, an unblemished start. But we're fortunate. Tonight was a fantastic win. I can't tell you how proud I am of our guys. Number one, because the quality of the opponent is, we have so much respect for them. They're a perennial, not only conference champion, but not only be able to make the tournament, they win games in the tournament. And to watch what he's built over there, the respect we have is incredible. And, to be able to get them here tonight with the way that the game was, hard fought, that's a great win for our guys. It's a confidence builder that, sometimes it's going to feel ugly, and being able to grind away and stay with it and find a way to make big plays. We did that. There was a lot that was required in this game because they are very difficult to play against. First half offense, I thought they really bottled us up. We didn't share it. We weren't spraying the ball around like we needed to, and we struggled offensively. Dave's 2 threes to finish the first half really saved us. To start the second half, it's really back and forth. But I thought David, really changed the landscape defensively for us. He gave us more quickness, more activity. And, I thought his minutes were fantastic. And his ability to defensive rebound in the game, to get 8 defensive, 2 offense, and 10 rebounds in 22 minutes, a couple baskets, maybe, he's at a double-double. And that's sort of what our team has to be about. Different guys. The ability level to have great confidence in each other, that whoever's in is going to get it done. I thought Tyone, as a freshman, really played big tonight. And didn't get the nod in the starting lineup, and I thought he needed that a little bit. He needs to get back to work and recenter on what, really how he emerged for us this season. It was really about great toughness, work ethic, effort, not fearlessness. And I thought we saw that again tonight in him. We didn't see that in Jacksonville, and I thought he was really big. I credit our team, 27 for 30, and needed every one of them to win the game. That's a big-time achievement for us to be able to shoot free throws like that. And, in a 50-50 game, to be able to hold them down. I thought for the most part it was difficult, but we got enough stops. And then at the end, to be able to make the free throws was good. But this was a good win. I'm happy for our guys. We have as much respect for Yale as anybody, playing those guys and watching them on film.
Questions?
Coach, a season ago, you came from behind against Yale tonight, down by 1.5, outscored them by 7, in the second half. What have you guys been able to see? What did you take from last year's victory and bring it into today?
Nothing. It hadn't anything with last year. It had anything to do with this group or playing them. In Yale's defense, they play a ton on the road. So when you watch them play, you have such a respect level for going to Purdue, going to Minnesota, going to UIC. They're playing on the road all the time. They're very comfortable. And the thing that shocks you about them is they'll go to Purdue and they'll be 6 out of their first 7 possessions they score. It's wow, they're so accustomed to playing on the road in the non-conference that I think you get a good shot from them whenever you do. And our team knew that this was going to be one of those games where it was going to come down to, are we willing to defend the long game? It's a long game. Are we willing to defend? They're a tough cover. But I thought we did a pretty good job for the most part. We had some lapses in there that we weren't smart, but we got enough.
Coach, as Shane mentioned, this start to the season has been nothing short of historic and highlighted by now 2 wins over recent NCAA tournament teams. Just considering how the last 2 seasons have gone, how big of a motivating factor, momentum builder for you as a coach is a result like this and having a start like this?
I don't think about me. I think about our program, and I think about our school. They deserve a great program here, and they really do. We have great people in our administration. We have great people at the top with President Arlange. Our board is so supportive, and we're really trying to get this place back at a level where we have a great spirit about us again. And we need our arena full. We do need that. We need to bring that back. I probably need to do a little bit more walking around campus and handing out tickets. I don't know what I have to do, but we have a good team, and I'm proud of that. And it takes some time, to figure it out. But I'm happy for our school. I'm happy for our fan base. I'm happy for our players. I could care less about me.
Coach, you have given Sebastian Thomas a lot of praise so far this season. You described him as a self-made player, a guy who bet on himself, a guy that no coach should take credit for. Tonight he gets that 1,000th career point.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like to share a moment like that with him in the Ryan Center?
Yeah, I wasn't really aware until we talked about it at the thing, but he scored a lot of points last year. He really did, and because I know his first couple of years he probably didn't score as much. I was there for one of them, but like I said, he's really developed. And what we need him to do right now is, really start to be a little bit more cerebral in terms of like, what are they giving him? It's a bogged down game. I thought he really was trying to force it in terms of the paint, and he had like 2 or 3 plays where you're like, come on, you got to be able to dish that, figure it out. But when it was winning time, he made the plays, and that's why you stick with the guy like him in terms of like his understanding. He controls the game with the ball in his hands, and trust him. And I'm happy for him that he's with us right now. And everybody at this university and our fans, everybody should be happy he's back, because he's a huge difference maker for what's going on around here.
It seemed like once he started running in the second half,
Yeah.
he passed us the lead.
We were gassed to start the game. We were. We needed a second wind, and our defense started to create some pace as well. We started to get out and we started to have some lanes, but our second half offense was much more fluid. It was much better. I thought in the first half we really needed some adjustments at halftime to be able to try to get those guys to move the ball better. But Yale's got very, very difficult to score on around the basket. They're a 2-point field goal percentage defense program. They're a rebounding program. You got to make some shots. I was actually happy that we took 33s. I thought it was going to require us to make shots in this game. You weren't going to get a lot of paint touches. You weren't going to get a lot of easy ones around the basket. And I thought we had some timely ones. We had some good looks that didn't go down. But we were going to need to make some shots with how they were playing us. And I think he had a big one. Bassey had a big one right at the top, if I can remember. And Dave's phenomenal in terms of being able to create space, as well. And Dave, fearless in terms of letting it go. So big shots.
And then last 4 minutes, a couple defensive mistakes, obviously, but I think they went 4 minutes without a field goal. What does that say about your half-court execution there?
I think we prepared, really, really long and hard these last few days to be able to deal with their different ways of kind of tweaking you. But, I look at the box score, and Polakaitis has 25, but I didn't think he was an easy 25, Bang, he's a pain, man. I don't know if he has any more years left, but they got good players. They got really good players, and Towson's a pain. I mean, he's a big, strong kid. The way they maneuver and tweak with you during the game, you have to be able to adjust on the fly. I thought we had a couple, maybe 2, just, sort of almost brain dead moments, running back after a quick make. They stole one there. At the end of the game, they had 3 possessions where they go the length of the floor to either draw a foul, get right to the rim. We just weren't smart in those situations, and that's on, really the staff and the coaches. But we grinded away good, and we make physical plays, in the game. And, if I look at it, I see 7 block shots and 6 steals on the stat sheet. David gets 8 defensive rebounds. The majority of them are in the second half. David got 7 defensive rebounds tonight. That's 15 defensive rebounds, really, from those 2 guys. And it was going to be that kind of game. Javante gets 5 offensive rebounds. He didn't have his best night, but he had some big plays in the second half as well, being able to keep balls alive. But we're a work in progress, and we're going to keep learning this group. But I think if we stay with it and we continue to develop our bench, we continue to develop different guys on different nights, this game right here should give you some confidence that you can play with a lot of teams.
Archie, just in general, when you play a James Jones
Yeah.
coach team, just how much is it just a test of all the things that you need to do to win a game?
They don't beat themselves. Their offensive numbers this year are actually better than their offensive numbers a year ago with Wolf and Nolan. Just goes to show you their system. They have excellence in what they do. They can system whip you. They can beat you different ways, but they're a tough-minded rebounding team that shares the ball. They run their stuff, and they don't beat themselves. You have to beat them. And I thought they didn't give us a whole lot tonight either. We had to be able to figure a way out to do it and make some plays. But being at home, And those guys, obviously that series with them is one, that we kind of looked at and said at the end of the day, if not going to get high major teams, you got to play NCAA tournament teams somehow, some way. That's one of them, So I think they'll be right there at the end in the Ivy like they are every year. But like I said, I got as much respect for their program as any that I've been around a long time. They're really well coached and their kids play good together.
You say, obviously you want this building filled. There's no doubt it's going to be filled on Saturday. As you try to build the program, what are you most looking forward to and what the opportunity your team has for this game on Saturday?
Competition. Competition, man. You want to play. And I think when you're in that type of game as a player, you cherish those moments. As a coach, you cherish those moments when you can put a group out there that, in a great environment, and playing against obviously a rival in-state deal here with PC. It's a big deal for our school. It always is. But like, we have to answer the bell. We have to be ready to play hard. We have to compete. It's going to be a dogfight. And I haven't spent any time on them, so I don't know much about it. But like, I'm not worried about Saturday afternoon in terms of our energy level. I know that there'll be adrenaline there. We have to be good at what we do, and we got to use today and get better. But you want to be in these games. You want that place full every night. You know what I mean? And I know that environment's a special one here, and we'll need it.
With respect to your first 2 years, is this maybe the first time you felt you've had a representative roster going into that game?
That's a tough one to answer. I think rivalry games, depending on, I've never gone into a game and said, boy, I wish I had more tonight. Like, once you tip it up, man, it's ready. You got to be ready to go. And, PC's program, obviously, from Ed all the way here to Kim, they're good players, man. It's a Big East program, it's had a lot of success. And, there's an intensity in both arenas. I've been in both now. It's not like they just show up here. You go there. It's a real game. It's one of the probably more underrated games people don't talk about. I know before I got here, I thought about it, but like, you got to be in it to know that like it's a big time game. There's a lot of intensity, and I'm not sure their roster, our roster, what it is. I just know this: for these 40 minutes on Saturday, man, we want to give our best effort, and we want to be at our best. And to do that, we have to earn the right to play well over the next 4 or 5 days or whatever it takes. But I already know it's going to be a drag-out fight.
Coach, after that second throwaway pass by David Fuchs, you had a really long conversation with him.
Chin the ball. We got way too many opportunities right now where we're getting the ball and we're giving it back to them when we have numbers. We had one at half court. We try to dribble loose balls. Sometimes we're not going to dive on it. We're going to try to pick it up. They dive on it and get it. We're 50-50 balls like when, but we talked to Dav at that moment. Chin the rebound, make them come back to you right now. It's winning time. It's not, looking at the clock, and he did a fine job. He's an emotional guy, but he played well tonight for us. We needed every minute that he had. Good? Got one? One more?
Tyone, how good he was tonight.
Tyone was great.
Did you say anything after that, technical foul, halfway through?
No, I didn't. I didn't. Tyone got all he needed to hear from me after our trip to Jacksonville, and I told him we were going to need him tonight. We're going to need him here moving forward to be that guy, and I think he showed tonight he can really play. We have a lot of emotional guys. We do, and I think that's a good thing. We got to channel it. Obviously, we don't want to give him 2 points, but I'll take Ty any day of the week. Thanks.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
See you guys. I'll see you guys Saturday.